Welcome to next lecture of strength of material. Our topic is elasticity. Okay. We have studied two constants in previous lectures. One is Young's modulus of elasticity and other is modulus of rigidity. Okay. Now there are two more constants which are Poisson's ratio and bulk modulus. Okay. The Young's modulus of elasticity is defined by direct stress by direct strain and modulus of rigidity is defined by shear stress by shear strain. Okay. The next constant is Poisson ratio. Consider a cuboid of length L, width W, and thickness T. Okay. And we apply a direct tensile stress. Okay. Then when there will be change in length due to direct stress or okay. This change in length is given by del L by L is equal to sigma by E. This is called longitudinal strength. Longitudinal strength and del L will be L sigma by E. Okay, but this so if the stress is tensile, then there will be increase in length. If the stress is compressive, then there will be decrease in length. In our case, the stress is tensile, so there will be decrease in length. But this increase in length will be at the cost of decrease in width and decrease in thickness. So the decrease in width to width and decrease in thickness to thickness happens in other direction in which the stress is not applied in this case. Okay, so this is called lateral strain, and this is due to the sigma only. Okay, so the lateral strain is defined as the strain in other direction due to the stress applied in one direction in a particular direction. Okay, so Poisson's ratio is defined as now the Poisson ratio is for the Poisson ratio is defined as the ratio of lateral strain to direct strain, yeah, or longitudinal strain. Del W by W is or del T by T is called divided by del L by L is equal to Poisson ratio. Okay, so del W by W, if we put the value of del L by L is that is sigma by E, then we can find out del W by W or del T by T. We are putting the sign minus sign because the change in W and change in T will be opposite to that of change in L. So if there is increase in L, then there is decrease in W and T. Okay, so that is so in this case the strain in x direction will be sigma x by E and strain in y direction will be minus mu sigma y by minus mu sigma by E and in z direction it will be minus mu sigma by E. Now if we take the two-dimensional case, then and sigma x and sigma y stresses are applied on a block of length L W, width W, and thickness T. Then this sigma x will cause a longitudinal strain for L. Okay, that will be equal to sigma x by E, and this sigma x will also cause a lateral strain for W and T. So this, so lateral strain for W will be minus mu sigma x by E, and for T it will also be minus sigma x by E. Okay, so this the effect of this sigma x will be this, this, and this. There will be increase in length, decrease in width, decrease in thickness. Okay. Now similarly, sigma y will cause increase in W, that will be equal to sigma by E, and will cause decrease in length, that is mu sigma v by y by E, and also mu sigma y by E in z direction. So in z direction there is no direct stress acting. Okay, so there will be only decrease in length due to these lateral strains, that will be caused, that is caused by sigma x and sigma y. Okay, now In three-dimensional case, sigma x, sigma y, and sigma z are acting on a block. Okay. Now sigma x will cause direct strain in x direction and vector strain in y and z direction. Okay. Similarly, sigma y will cause the direct strain in y direction and vector strain in x and z direction. Okay. Similarly, sigma z will cause direct strain in or longitudinal strain in z direction and vector strain in x and y direction. Okay. Next definition is bulk modulus. Okay. Bulk modulus, that is the core constant. Okay. After E, G, and mu. So bulk modulus is defined as the hydrostatic stress to volumetric strain. What is hydrostatic stress? When a block is subjected to same amount of stresses in all the direction, then it is called hydrostatic stress. Okay. So here a block is subjected to sigma tensile in all the direction. Okay. So bulk modulus is defined as sigma del V by V or sigma divided by volumetric strain. Where del V by V is volumetric strain or change in volume by volume. Okay. So what is volumetric strain? How we find out the volumetric strain? So let us take the case of device, okay, of dimension x, y, and z. Okay, due to application of stresses, it may be equal, it may be unequal. Okay, due to application of stresses, the x changes by an amount delta x, y changes by an amount delta y, z changes by an amount delta z. Okay, so the initial volume is the xyz and final volume is x plus delta x, y plus delta y, z plus delta z. Okay, the change in volume is this minus this, the change in volume. The volumetric strain is change in volume divided by volumetric strain. Okay, sorry, change in volume by initial volume. If we neglect the small quantity, it means the product of two small quantity or three small quantity. Okay, then we get delta x by x, delta y by y, delta z by z. Okay, so delta x by x is strain in x direction, delta y by y is strain in y direction, and delta z by z is strain in z direction. So the volumetric strain is summation of three strains in all the three directions. Okay, in case of Cartesian coordinate. Okay, when we take the cylindrical coordinate, and then there are two directions, one is of diameter and another is of length. So the and volume of cylinder is pi by 4 d scale L. Okay, d is in scale. Okay, so we'll take 2 epsilon theta. Okay, where epsilon theta is delta d by d and plus the epsilon n. When we take the spherical coordinate, the volume is in d cube. Okay, so it is 3 delta d epsilon theta. Okay, in case of spherical coordinate. Okay. Next, the relationship between bulk modulus, elastic modulus. Now we will drive the relationship between these constants. Okay, the first relationship is between bulk modulus, elastic modulus, and Poisson's ratio. Okay, now bulk modulus we have defined that hydrostatic stress by volumetric strain, and the volumetric strain is epsilon x, epsilon y, and epsilon z. Okay, when we take a cube and it is subjected to hydrostatic stress, so then the sigma, then the epsilon x, epsilon y, epsilon z will be same, that is equal to epsilon. So epsilon in this case will be sigma by E minus mu sigma by E. This sigma by E, it will cause, okay, and due to this, this will be minus mu sigma by E, and due to this, it will be minus mu sigma by E, and it will be same in x, y, and other y as z direction. Okay, so epsilon, if we simplify it, then epsilon will be sigma 1 minus 2 mu, and Now change in volume by volume is epsilon x plus epsilon y plus epsilon z, or it means 3 epsilon. So change in volume by volume is 3 epsilon by E 1 minus E. Okay. So K is defined as volume hydrostatic stress to volumetric strain. So hydrostatic stress to volumetric strain is K, and here sigma will cancel out and we'll get a relationship between E and K, that is E is equal to 3K 1 minus 2. Okay. The next relationship is between elastic modulus, modulus rigidity, and Poisson's ratio. Okay. Now to drive the relationship between elastic modulus and Poisson's ratio and modulus rigidity, we take a block of dimension 2 into 2 units and apply a tensile stress and a compressive stress in x and y direction. For the block is ABCD, and point of application of point of application of load is GFEH. Okay, GFEH. Now, if we draw the Mohr circle of these stresses, then the sigma in x direction, sorry, sigma x in x direction is sigma, that is positive. Okay, so we will start from this point and will go to this point. This is sigma. Okay, and there is no shear stress on plane BC. Okay, so this is the principal plane. Okay, so the point B will be sorry, point A and B will be same. Okay, this is the point. Okay, similarly, if we draw the mm, compressive stress, that is in negative direction, so minus, this is the plane AB, and the reverse is the point in this midpoint of this line will be center, and if we draw a circle, okay, then it is a Mohr circle. Then at 90 degree Mohr circle, the plane at 90 degree to plane BC in Mohr circle will be at 45 degrees to BC here. Okay, so it will be plane GF. So at GF there is positive shear stress. Okay, there is positive shear stress, and at plate EF there is negative shear stress. So, so at GF there will be a clockwise shear stress, and at GH there will be a anti-clockwise shear stress. Okay. Now we find out the change in length in change in length in two dimensions of the block. Okay. So we are finding out the change in length in HF. Okay. Then del HF by HF is equal to sigma by E plus mu sigma by E. Okay. That is sigma by E. Okay. And due to compression, there will also be increase in length. That will be mu sigma by E. Okay. Similarly, oh sorry, that is change in HF by HF. Okay. Similarly, HI del H by is half of that HF. So del H by HI is also same. Okay. Del H by I is also same. Okay. Del H by HI is also same. That is equal to del HF by HF. Okay. Now HI is 1 unit. Okay. HI is 1 unit. So del HI, if you put HI is equal to 1, del HI is equal to sigma by E minus mu sigma by E is equal to epsilon. Okay. So now there is change in HI, that is equal to epsilon. Okay. Now initial HI was 1 unit. Now new HI will be 1 plus change in HI, 1 plus epsilon. Okay. Similarly, we can find out change in GE by GE. Okay. GE by E. G. So change in GE by E, there will be decrease in G because there is direct compressive stress acting on G, that is sigma. Then this due to this stress there will be minus sigma by E. Okay, and due to tensile stress in x direction, there will also be decrease in length of G. Okay, that is minus mu sigma by E. Okay, now similarly, as in previous case, del GE by GE is equal to del GI by GI. Okay, okay, because I is the midpoint of GE. Okay, now del GE by GI is equal to minus sigma by E minus mu sigma by E. Okay, now del GI will be equal to minus sigma by E minus mu sigma by E. Okay. Okay. Now, and this quantity is the epsilon, okay, with minus, and because this we have assumed as epsilon. So if we put minus sign here, then it will be minus epsilon. So initial GI was 1 unit. So new GI is minus 1 minus mu unit. Okay. So there is increase in HI. There is increase in HI. Okay, in HI, and decrease in GI. Increase in HI and decrease in GI. It means this angle will decrease. This angle is initially 45 degrees. So this angle will, there is decrease in GI, increase in HI. So there will be decrease in this angle. So now we have find out that the shear stresses due to this stresses due to these stresses, shear stresses are acting on these planes. Okay, and shear stresses causes change in orientation. Okay, so now there is decrease in this angle. Suppose this angle is changes by an amount pi by 2. Sorry, suppose the shear strain in the shear strain caused by the shear stress is pi. That will be caused from uh, whole in whole 90 degree angle. Okay, if the shear strain is pi, then this angle will decrease by an amount pi by 2. So this angle will be 45 minus pi by 2. Okay, if the shear strain is pi, I read out for you. Okay, hence there is increase in HI and decrease in GI, which reduces the angle GHI. What is the angle GHI? G GHI. Okay, which reduces angle GHI. Okay, which is also evident from the direction of the shear stress, and we can see from the direction of shear stress. Okay, the direction of shear stress is here. It is anti-clockwise. Here it is clockwise. So clockwise. This this is this is this that this this this. So they are also evident from the direction of shear stress. Okay. Initially GHE was GHE initially GHE was 90 degree. Okay. Let by the application of shear stress or normal stress on the plane AB or AC, because this shear stress is due to the normal stress on plane AB and BC. We can write out due to normal stress or due to shear stress. The angle changes by an amount pi. Okay. So that is also shear strain. Okay, so the change in GHI will be pi by 2, because in 90 degree it will change by around pi by pi. So in 45 degree it will change by pi by 2. For new angle GHI, new angle GHI, new angle GHI will be 45 minus pi by 2. Okay, so we can take triangle GHI, GHI, and this is perpendicular, this is base. Okay, so we can write tangent 45 minus pi by 2 perpendicular by base, and New GI is 1 minus epsilon and new HI is 1 plus epsilon. And we, if we write out this formula, we will 1 minus tan phi 1 plus tan phi. Okay. Assuming pi as small, we can write out 1 minus pi by 2, 1 plus pi by 2. Here 1 minus epsilon, 1 minus epsilon. From this we can write pi by 2 is equal to epsilon. So putting the value of pi is just in sigma by g, and putting the value of epsilon, okay, putting the value of epsilon, this is epsilon sigma by e, 1 minus sigma by g, okay, and this is tau by g is equal to sigma by g, because the same amount of shear stress is acting on the plane as a 45 degree to this this to plane AB or BC. Okay, so if we put these values in this equation, okay, you can find out the relationship between E and G. Okay. Now next is relationship between E and J. If we eliminate uh, if we eliminate E, G, and K, mu from the two equations that we have tried earlier, we will reach out to equation E is equal to 9 kg plus G by G plus 3K. How? Now from this E by 2G is 1 plus mu, and E by 2G minus 1 is mu. Now we have find out the value of mu from this, and we'll put in this equation. Okay. Okay, E is equal to 3K. Second equation is E is equal to 3K. Okay. 1 minus 2 mu. 1 minus 2 E by 2G plus 2 E minus 2 plus 1 3 minus E by G. Okay, G is LCM, 3G minus E. G, okay, G will come out here. 3G is equal to 9 kg minus 3 ke. Okay, this will come as plus EG plus 3K. So E is equal to 9 kg divided by G plus 3K. This is all this elastic constant. Okay, and we'll use this constant in numericals and the relationship in. Okay, thank you.